What's up? You are turned into the Merry Podcast where we talk about how to be merry when you're feeling high and when you're feeling low. So, today we're going to be talking about some good stuff, but we're going to be starting it a little different today. I got this liter and a half of Gatorade. As you can see, it's like Korean, so I don't know the sodium contents. It looks like it's pretty good. It looks like it has sure enough, Nelulium. Nelulium. I believe that's sodium. It's 3% sodium. Not sure if that's of your daily value. Anyways, it's an isotonic beverage. Oh, here we go. We got the Na. Na is 20.9, which is, as you know, sodium. We have the potassium, which is 6.5, and we have the calcium, the Cl negative, which is 9.5. It's a family brand of Pepsi. Of course, you guys know the story of Gatorade. Gatorade was invented in America, the motherland, Migook, the beautiful. Back in the football days, there was a competition where one football team was getting particularly drowsy. It was the Florida Gators, hence Gatorade. So the Florida Gators were down, and they tried this beverage that was actually at the time mostly. I forget what it was that really did them over the edge. If it was lipids, the original formula had a lot of lipids and had a lower glycemic index. However, this still has a pretty low glycemic index. Why the glycemic index is important is you don't want an insulin spike when you are riding your bike. What an insulin spike is it's the fatigue effect of sugar. Like if you have a whole bunch of candy and then you have a high sugar blood content, then the beta or alpha pools in your kidneys release insulin, which at this point you know what's going on. And so it sends you into insulin shock. And the insulin shock is when the body tries so actively to balance out the high blood sugar and get it down to closer to 100 to 200 range so that your kidneys don't explode and you don't have your eyes bursting and all kinds of dramatic crazy hyperbolic things happen. So with Gatorade there are multiple forms of sugar. This is in Korean, but I would assume this says dextrose, fructose, glucose, and other disaccharides and monosaccharides. Monosaccharides are the easiest to digest. Um, Disaccharides take some more chemical reactions in your body, whereas the pyruvate can simply be created from glucose, which is a monosaccharide. So the glycogen system, which is activated mostly, it's a dimmer switch, from 75 to 100% effort, is utilized greatly from Gatorade. But anyways, since that creation, they have been inventing different formulas and different products for athletes worldwide. They may not be the most healthy, um, but they are science-based, which is incredible. You can actually go to Florida um, University, University of Florida, rather. I correct myself. It's not FU, it's U of F. I thought about going there for my PhD, but I ultimately didn't apply per recommendation of a professor. He said I didn't have enough chemistry. Maybe I'll go back for a chemistry degree and then I'll go to Florida State. Who knows what life holds, am I right? Only God knows. But regardless, you did hear that crack of the cap. That means that it's time to chug this whole liter and a half. I didn't really explain that well. I'm going to chug this whole liter and a half as fast as I can, and then I will go about my merry way with the rest of this podcast. True, it does have a lot of sugar, although I am going to run in about 2 hours, And so the sugar content of this bad boy is probably about, okay, wait, I need the calorie count. Okay, so there it is, carbohydrates, kasu wa mol. So that's 7 grams per 100 milliliters, 7 times 15. Let's do some math here. 7 times 15 is 105 grams. I'm a 79 kilo man, so I need to divide that by 79, and that means I can work out in an hour, 0.32, so 1.32 hours. So that is roughly the equivalent of 1 hour and 20 minutes. So that means I can go for a 5K at 11 or a 10K at 11 and be filled with sufficient glucose to get the job done. All right, I'm going to stop stalling now and I'm going to chug this bad boy. Oh, gross. 미안해요. 죄송합니다 for the belch. I know some of you guys are sensitive about belching. So yeah, I wasn't able to do it in one go, obviously. It's super cold. Water is most palatable at about 70 degrees, and this was in the fridge all night. So that was a bad call on my part. Whew. We're almost done. As you can see, we're about halfway there. We're almost to below the label. Ooh, brain freeze. This is a bit of a fail, but it does prove some good points, and it is a good teaching lesson. So we're almost to the bottom there. Getting there. This is a good time to talk about verse that's tatted on my ankle. I lift my eyes into the hills. Where does my help come from? My help comes from the Lord, maker of heaven and earth. You know? There's more to it than that, but those are the bars I know, for sure. Confidently. This is so fun. I love this. This is my bike, Eleanor Rigby. It's a Trek Monda SL5. The retail is 2600. I got it used for 8500 or 850. I'm a bargain shopper. This bike does have some wear and tear. Let me tell you, I have to get a new chain this weekend. So the chain for the bike is it's about $50 for a road chain. I met a guy who lived in Canada who's super friendly, and he's not gonna mess with me on prices. The dude is a legend. His name is Min, Song Min, but he says I can just call him Min. And I said, can I call you Mint because you're fresh? And he just gave me a big smile. Love Min to death. He's a good guy. I can't be mad at an honest mechanic, let me tell you. This one time I helped him get a bike sale. I brought a friend there who was looking for a bike. It's like a $300 purchase. It's just a regular old bike. All right. Now I'm good to go. My my stomach feels a little full already. Um, but the nice thing about eating is that you gotta you gotta get full before you realize you're full. Um, I once did a Krispy Kreme challenge, 2 years in a row actually, and it was a 10K. But the first 5K you run, and then as Krispy Kreme donuts, the Krispy Kreme challenge is that you eat 12 donuts, 2,400 calories, and then you run the second half of that 5K, 10K total. You run 5K there, 5K back, something like that. Yeah. So I think technically it's like 5.5 miles, but it gets longer every year. So by now it's probably 10K. And when I ran it, it took me 20 minutes to get there, 20 minutes to get back, but it took me 10 minutes to eat those donuts. At the time, I didn't realize that I had a gluten intolerance. I never did the exclusion diet until 2020, so the best year of my life, top 5 years of my life, I'd say. So essentially, it's good to fuel. It's proper to fuel. You should be fueling. If you don't want overtraining injuries, if you don't want to die, if you don't want, hypoglycemia, if you don't want to bonk, then carb up. Like don't be a little, you know, don't be scared to carb up is what I'm saying. Carb up. All right. So, yeah, it was just keep it simple and carb up, you know. But anyways, let's get back to the topics of the day. So riding the Seoul Metropolis. Okay, so when you're in Seoul, South Korea, and you're riding your bike, it's a pretty fun event. All of the laws are the same as they are in America. So you ride on the right, you can use the sidewalks when you want, or not the sidewalks, but actually, yeah, that is one thing that is different. You can use the sidewalks on your bike. So you just gotta. It's fun. It's like urban mountain biking. And I know urban mountain biking is a thing, but for a roadie, it's like a great way to develop handling skills while still like staying on your bike. Because if you're mountain biking, you're not exactly staying on your bike. You're gonna fall, but your worst crashes are on the road, on the asphalt. I've been thrown off of my bike on the asphalt going like above 20 miles per hour twice. And, it hurt. Nothing was broken except my ego. Um, thank God. But I've known people to like catch a bad wind and be hospitalized with like broken ribs and legs, and it's just no good. I just have a couple cool scars from it, so yeah, that's nice. But riding Seoul, so this weekend I had the opportunity to go into Seoul and ride my bike for funsies. I was going to meet a friend um like 2 weeks ago. It was a girl. She was pretty cool. She was like really really sassy, really like kind of pessimistic and like cynical. Um but at the same time she was really like cool because it was fun talking to someone about like woke culture and like women's rights and like all the liberal like front. She was all about it. And so that was really cool because I haven't talked to a liberal in a long time. We talked about like abortion, we talked about all these things over coffee, and it was like fantastic. The women of Seoul are really intelligent, really intelligent. By generally speaking, um, you know, they're very intelligent here. They're very fast too, like Polly Polly. culture. Oh, this podcast episode is going all over the place. Okay, so I rode from Gangnam to Coax. Gangnam to Coax. I'm gonna go ahead and look up the the GPS for that. Coax Mall. I was in the search for books. I searched for 3 books. If you were to take the train, it would take 10 minutes to get there. But if you were to bike, okay, if you were to bike, you can get there in a lot shorter time. If you bike, you can get there in like 5 minutes, especially if you're aggressively like in the road, like next to cars, and you take sidewalks when you want to. Like, it was pretty fun. I was going at like 25 kilometers an hour, maybe 30, because it was mostly downhill. And there were moments where I was like, all right, what do I do? Okay, I hit the road. What do I do? Okay, I go around this car. What do I do? All right, pedal up. you know, it's like fun because like you can cut through traffic, you can like make your own roads, and you can just like be about it. Like, so fun. So fun. If you have a chance to ride in a city of 8 million, like New York, Seoul, Shanghai, 8 million or greater, Tokyo, um, LA, uh, do it. I'd recommend. Um, yeah. So, next I want to talk about the joys of being sober, and then gratitude journals, and then I'll peace out. Sorry for this, like, podcast that's all over the place. Hope it was still enjoyable. But I'm shivering. I'm so cold. This is why it's important to have moderate temperature waters because it's more palatable. Okay, so the joys of being sober. So the joys of being sober. Getting drunk is fantastic. Don't get me wrong, but there are some real joys of being sober. Uh, I in Korea, it is a very commonplace to drink, like during the week or at night or with your friends. Some say they have the highest capita of drinking. Like, let's check out some statistics. Okay. As of 2018, around 77% of South Koreans of legal purchasing age stated that they consumed alcohol at least once a year. Out of those, about 13.8 were considered high risk drinkers, meaning they drank too much alcohol more than twice a week. So, less than 14 beverages a week, uh, 14 or less for males and 7 or less for females is considered low risk. And then you have more than 4 drinks per sitting is considered moderate risk, and then it goes up from there. So I would say that, with that 13.8% roughly being like taking high risk drinking, it's natural. I mean, to drink in South Korea. But when you drink, you sacrifice your morning for a good night. So, and you sacrifice maybe that afternoon for a good night. And so, if you're not drinking, you have both the morning and the night. And that's yours. Um, it's like such a social thing and it's like considered like a social lubricant, and you're more able to do like dumb things, like not dumb things, but like your inhibitions are lower. So you're more impulsive and you're more willing to take risks, but at the same time, you're also more willing to eat um, a pint or gallon or quart of ice cream. So that's not that great. And so you wake up feeling not that great. And if you're a morning person like me, my most productive hours are in the morning. And I think for me, I don't want to sacrifice that. And for me, like, if I'm hungover, uh, like, especially during the weekdays, I think I've been hungover once during the weekdays here, and it's not fun. Like, you could, like, if you have a job to do, then you have to put others before you don't have to, but I recommend that I uh, put others before myself. And a way I put others before myself is that I, without a doubt, want to stay sober from Sunday till Thursday. I mean, I feel like that's not even a compromise. That's just maybe that's my hardcore American, like, sober on the weekdays mentalities. But um, yeah, I think when I have more energy, when I when the coffee hits right, it's a beautiful thing. I would rather experiment with uppers than downers, coffee than alcohol, I should say. Uh, so that's the joy of being sober. Yeah, yeah. And okay. Now that I'm done with that, let's talk about gratitude journals. So, gratitude journals. One of my favorite podcasters, and you should watch his videos. He's very famous now. He hasn't always been, and he always responds to my messages, and he's featured me on his story. And he's just an all around good guy, like a legend of the week for sure. But his name is Chad Kroger. Uh, and his podcast is Going Deep with Chad and JT. He started a gratitude journal. Now, a gratitude journal is an awesome thing. It's so cool. You talk about what makes you happy, and uh, it's important to be happy. Like, a thankful heart is a happy heart. If you've seen Veggie Tales, then you know the song Madame Blueberry. Uh, Grateful heart is a happy heart. Lyrics. If not, I'll go ahead and read the lyrics now. The VeggieTales song, Thankfulness song. I thank God for this day, for the sun in the sky, for my mom and my dad, for my piece of apple pie, for our home on the ground, for his love that's all around. That's why I say thanks every day, because a thankful heart is a happy heart. I'm glad for what I have, and that's an easy way to start. For the love that he shares, because he listens to my prayers. That's why I say thanks every day. Now, that was definitely Christian. And if you're not Christian, that's fine. Because you can cut out a couple pieces. The first line, I thank God for this day, cut that out. But then the rest of it, between, um, yeah, like between lines 2 and lines 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, it's still a very practical verse. Like, for the sun and the sky, for my mom and my dad, for my piece of apple pie, for our home on the ground, for the love that's all around. That's why I say thanks every day, because a thankful heart is a happy heart. I'm glad for what I have, and that's an easy way to start. I go to church every day, and there were some Russians. And I don't know what it is about Russia. Maybe it's that we fought a Cold War against each other. But every time I hang out with Russians, they're always so annoyed by how optimistic and how cheery and merry I am. But like they were like, "Wow, you get excited about everything." And I was just like, "Yeah, I mean, a thankful heart is a happy heart." And they were like, "That's true." I remember getting into a debate with one person on a plane from Osaka, Japan to Hawaii, uh, and she was like, "You know, where I'm from, in Russia, if someone smiles all the time, they're known as stupid." And I thought about it for a minute, and it really got to me. And then I fell asleep, and I woke up 2 hours later, and the flight was 9 hours, and I said, in America, if someone doesn't smile, then they think they're heartless. And then she sat with that for a little while. And so it's just kind of a retort scenario. But ultimately, um, I'd say she won the battle, but I won the war, maybe? Because love trumps hate, you know? Saying people are stupid is not nice, but saying people are mean is also not nice. But at the same time, um, I'd rather be thankful and smiling than be scornful and intelligent. I don't really think the two have a pure hold anyways. Because just because you smile and just because you're friendly doesn't make you any more dumb than someone that doesn't smile and is pissed off all the time. It's easy to be a cynic. Ralph Waldo Emerson said, "Everything that God has created has a crack in it." So everything, from a diamond to the dirt, has a crack in it. Yeah, you can find a fault in everything. Great job. But can you see the joy? And can you see the positive? Can you see the light to the darkness? And that's what a gratitude journal is all about. It's seeing the light through the darkness. Yeah, there are flaws. You don't have to ignore them, but you don't have to put all your stake in the flaws. You don't have to put all your stake in the 5% of what's wrong with something when there's another 95% of what's right. You don't have to say, "Oh, all of these people are bad because this one person is bad." No, there's 19 people that are good. And, we're all guilty of it. We make hypotheses based on what we see. That's the scientific method. We observe something, we check it out, we see if it's true. But if you observe something, make sure that it's true. Yeah. When I was teaching one day, this girl, she was like, "Oh, I have a gratitude journal." And I was like, "Oh, that's awesome, Gion. That's awesome. That's what's up." And I was like, "I also keep a gratitude journal. What I write about is one thing that makes me smile, one thing that I did well, and one thing that I'm grateful for." And today, I'm grateful that I tested negative for COVID-19. I've tested negative 4 times for COVID-19 since I've gotten here, per government mandate, which is fine. The government mandate that they gave out on Friday last week was all foreigners in Korea have a week and a few days to get COVID-19 test, or you get $2,000 fine. Naturally, I'm not rich, man. I'm on a teacher's salary. So $2,000 is a lot to me still. It's not a bus ticket. So I went and got the test, and I'm grateful that I'm negative for COVID-19. I would say one thing that I did well this week was I did a 5K in 22. So a 5 kilometer run in 22 minutes is not anything to be ashamed about. I ran a mile in 6.6 6 minutes and 43 seconds. And it was casual too. Like, it was nice. And say one thing that made me smile was I was talking with my coworker last night, and we lost track of time, and it was like 11:40 by the time I finally walked home or biked home from work. And it was just so nice because all of the roads were empty, and I could bike however I wanted. It was freedom, and so I recommend keeping a gratitude journal. I'm gonna go ahead and grab mine to show you. It's called Sam Samchil Shib O Il Gamsa Notu. So 365 Il Gamsa Notu. I actually got this book from a Muslim man who's a engineer, mechanical engineer out here in Korea for Hyundai Motors. Sent a message out on my Korean social group, and I said, I'm looking to learn Korean. If anyone has any books or anyone is willing to teach me, just let me know. Comment or message me directly. And so he actually messaged me, and we got coffee and went for a walk. And good old Mohammed hooked it up with like 3 books. Like he hooked it up with this book on the writing system, which I mean I kind of know, but it's always good to review. Level 2, Korean, which is awesome. A little bit out of my depth. So it's funny, I have a book that's under my depth and out of my depth, but it's okay. And then I have this gratitude journal for 365 days. So whether you believe in God or the universe, whatever you put your faith in, um, just know that whatever you need, the universe has provided. If you're watching this video, then you know it's been good. So I just recommend keeping a gratitude journal, for your highs and your lows. And you can be grateful for anything, from fresh water to drink today, to the sustenance that gave you life, to your parents, to your job. A lot of people are jobless. Yeah. All you have needed, the Lord has provided. The universe has provided. So, on that note, thank you for listening. If you listen to this whole thing, I hope you stay merry, and I hope you have a great day.